Good morning, good afternoon, evening, and all that sort of jazz. It's a little bit different time here today for you bloody legends watching this. We've got a pretty cool guest on today. He's someone that I asked to come on, and he's a big YouTuber. He's not like me; he's a big one, and his time's very precious. So we're probably not going to jibber jabber all day long here like we normally do. We'll get to the ducks nuts of things and work out what he's all about. That's why we've got a different time here today, guys. So there's today here in little old Kahuna in north central Victoria in Australia. The sun's up. It's like almost midday for me, who gets up at 3 a.m. in the morning most days to go out and take some photos. So in this video, we get this live stream. We're going to talk a little bit about some Android stuff, because we don't do a lot of Android stuff here. You know what, my daily phone that I carry is the iPhone, and this guy doesn't. I don't think he does. Certainly looking at his videos, he's a absolutely Android person through and through. Hey, Dave from across the ditch. How you doing, man? Anyway, let's bring him on. And if you don't know who he is, you should just hang your head in shame, because I've actually learned quite a bit off this guy, like most of the people that I bring onto this channel. Anyway, let's bring him on. Sam, how are you, man?
I'm very well, thank you, Shane. Thanks for having me on.
Now, you're like, that was a big write-up, and I hope to live up to what he just told everyone that I am.
Wowza. I don't know. Big YouTuber is I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I appreciate the love.
Oh, come on, mate. What are your numbers? Like 300,000 or something?
Currently 334,000 to be precise, but
that's awesome.
Hey.
How long have you been doing this gig for?
Look, I think it was about 7 years ago that I committed to doing a video weekly. So for yourself, you've only been doing it for 2 years, and look how fast you've been growing. And so you're about to eclipse me in no time, I'm sure.
I don't know about that. I just take photos of stars, man. You have a lot more content than I can put out there. But anyway, it's
good niche. You got to find that niche.
Absolutely, mate. You know that you may know of Dusty Porter, the podcast YouTube creators.
Yes.
Yeah, he interviewed me on the weekend about what I've been doing, and it was all about niching. You know, it's like
big time.
Find a photography niche, and lots of people do that, and then mobile phones, and a few people do that, and astrophotography with phones.
Yeah.
He does it.
Pretty niche. Yeah,
that's
pretty
how it works, man. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, pretty stoked with that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
So, for those who don't know you, and I didn't actually warn you about this when I was just speaking to you, there was another podcast that you're like, oh man, what's going to happen? There's another podcast.
I'm up for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So tell us who you are in a tweet. 140 characters. Who is Sam Beckman? There you go.
Okay. Are you gonna put this into a counter? So let's try it. All right. I would say, you ready? Start now. Tweet. I am a video producer specializing in creating smartphone related content for YouTube. Is that too long? I think that fits.
That'll do.
Surely.
That'll do. If anyone hasn't actually, if anyone's watching this who hasn't watched his stuff, definitely worth going to have a look. I've got apps on my phone now that I hadn't even heard of before watching what he does.
Fantastic.
So your phone, like obviously you have a lot of phones, like
yes,
you get a lot of phones. So we'll say your daily carry phone. What do you use every day?
Okay. Well, look, interesting time of year to ask, because it's about to hit, for me personally, smartphone season. So, this is where every single month I'm pretty much switching phones now. However, since December, I switched over to using the Pixel 6, the regular version, not the Pro, believe it or not, and was using that. And I have been using that. And for the last couple of weeks, you said I'm not an iPhone user regularly, but I did switch back to the iPhone 13 Pro just for about 2 weeks for an updated 6 month later review.
Okay.
But just last week, I switched over to, the Xiaomi 12.
Wow.
Try and get that in focus. I don't know if that's getting in focus there for you.
Yeah.
Xiaomi 12.
Look at the size of that camera.
Yeah. 100 and something megapixel. Anyway, so this is basically the first new phone of the year that I'm reviewing, and then I'll switch on to the Galaxy S22 lineup devices after that, and then it will be going from there. OnePlus, all the good stuff.
Yep. So you're using the regular Pixel 6 and not the Pro. Why?
Yes. Couple of reasons. For one, so every video I'm filming my phone, right? And I'm sure a lot of people, have like a second phone that they use just for filming. But for one reason or another, whether it's because I'm preparing content over the weekend and I'm downloading apps onto my phone, on the phone that you see on camera is the phone that I'm using, every day for that period. And so I switched to the Pixel 6 in December. And as I switched over, I actually dropped the 6 Pro just on the ground, just in my house. Oh. And as I picked it up, it looked like there was some dirt on my ground. And the screen got a bit like scratched, like those light scratches, which I hate. Not like cracks, but just those light scratches. And as someone who films their phone every week, that's not an option. So that was that was sort of part of the reason why I kept using it. But then also, like in terms of just the phone itself, it's got a flat display, which I much prefer over the curved one from the 6 Pro.
Yep.
And it's also actually, surprisingly, in my opinion, has better haptics, which are those little vibration taps you feel when you type or when you do certain little actions on your phone. I think they're better on the Pixel 6.
There was a company I've done a few sponsored videos for called Whitestone Dome. You may have heard of them.
Yes, they're a screen protector company, right?
Yep. And they do two sorts. One is just like stick-on screen protector, and the other one, it has like a liquid adhesive that goes over it. And what you just described is the perfect situation where that liquid one would resolve your scratches.
What do you mean? Like, as in it hides them after the fact, like after you've already done the drop?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can have these small scratches. I'm not talking about cracks. I won't do anything with that. But small surface scratches, like just the cosmetic sort of stuff. You put this into the rig, and you put the adhesive onto it, and put the glass, like the protector, onto it, and it smooths it all out. It fills in those little scratches, and you don't see them anymore. For most of the cases.
But it's still then got the sort of extra layer of protection as well, or is that then?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I need to look into that.
You need to contact them.
I will. Is this stream sponsored by White Dome or no?
No. They
no, that's a nice little plug. Hey,
it is. I kind of wish I didn't say it now because I
no. That's fine.
They're good.
That's good.
It's a good product. That
on Twitter,
absolutely. On Twitter, every time I log onto Twitter, there's like 30 or 40 mentions of my name, and it's just like they keep on promoting the same videos like 30 times a day.
Oh, really?
Stop it.
Nice.
Mike Goyne, this fellow here, he's a what does he use? He uses a Galaxy S20 FE, I think it's called, or something like that.
Okay.
And he pushes
Don't
out.
Watch my review on it.
Don't watch it.
Yeah. I wasn't overly impressed with that particular device, but I know a lot of people saying, "How dare you?" on that video. So
that's funny you say that, because the most views I've ever had on a video was my S21 Ultra video for the astrophotography. It's like got 500,000 views or something, and
awesome.
I honestly think that the analytics just jumped onto it because of the amount of comments that I got, and that was me saying, "Oh, look, it's just ugly." And man, all the Android people like, "What are you talking about?"
Hang on, sorry. The design of the phone ugly?
I didn't like the camera bump. Oh,
you know what's crazy is I don't either like the design of that phone, but right? I know a lot of people when the new S22 Ultra was released, and I actually prefer the design of the S22 Ultra.
Same.
But I know a lot of big reviewers are like, I just prefer that. I think the S21 Ultra had the best design of any phone. And I'm like, man, it was chunky. I didn't like it. Yeah, it's fascinating.
I'm the same. And for me, it was like you've got these phones set up on the cameras set up on the bezel, but they're not like it looks like it's meant to be uniform, but it's not. They're all like a little bit like that, and it just to me, it didn't make sense to me. I thought you've gone to so much effort to make it look slick, but I don't know. I just didn't. Personal
I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
So what if you do a lot of app reviews, right? So if you had to choose 3 apps for your current phone, what would they be? Any app. It doesn't need to be a photography one. Anything.
Okay. Are we going to bypass the big ones like, Twitter and YouTube and whatnot?
Yeah.
Bypass them.
Give us some sort of value.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But I didn't want to, undercut you there. But all right, here we go. You ready? I'm going to give you 3.
Yep.
And guys, he did not tell me about. I don't think he told me about this question. Maybe you did, but anyway.
Nope.
So I'm going to give you 3. The first is an application that I honestly can't live without on Android, and it's called Memorigi. Let me see if that will come in focus there. This is Memorigi. So Memory, it's a reminder and to-do list application.
Yep.
Okay. But and the thing is, right, on Apple, on the iPhones, I just use the stock reminders app because it's actually fantastic. But on the Android side of things, to get features like recurring tasks and this really niche feature, which is when you get a reminder, you can snooze it right on the notification rather than having to open up the app and reschedule it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you can do that. I can't remember if you can do that on the Apple reminders. But anyway, so Memorigi, fantastic reminders application, and they're currently working on an iOS version, so that'll be amazing.
Memorigi.
Okay, Memorigi. It also works on the web, so you can load it up on your computer.
It does a synchronize
right,
across that.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
As long as you log in, obviously.
Yeah.
Now so 2 more apps. There's a couple options here, but I'm going to go with an application that I've talked about on the channel before called. Let's open it up. Hang on, make sure there's nothing untowards there. I think we're good. This is an app called Bring. It is basically a shopping and to-do list. Shopping application.
Yep.
And you log in. Yeah, exactly. But the thing that makes it great, and I've used it for 5 years. My wife and I both have it. She's got iPhone, I've got Android. You log in and you share a list with someone, and then anytime one person puts an item in, pops up on the other side.
Yep.
Fantastic.
I use a very similar
and it's just got a great design.
Cosi. Yep.
Okay.
COZI is what it is. It's got the web interface. It's got app for the phone for both platforms. And it's pretty good. Yeah, Cosi, COZI. It's designed for like busy family sort of thing. So you'd put like your kids' soccer practice on there and shopping lists and calendar appointments and all that sort of stuff. It's nice. Quite good. I've had a couple of occasions where things have like you might put something on the shopping list if you like, and for some reason it didn't sync or whatever. And when I go do your shopping, you go, where's this or that?
Why didn't you get this?
It wasn't on the list. Yeah. And it's happened.
Dang.
It's happened a bit. It's a bit of a pain.
Okay.
But that week I just don't drink beer.
Nice. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. But the other thing I like about this app, this is fantastic design. It's got just really nice buttons and whatnot. It's just animations. I'm all about the design of an app. All right. And then you ready for the third one? This is actually an application that is my own. And it's called Palette. And is if you at palette, like the color palette, that you use when you're painting and whatnot. But essentially, this is an app that you use if it focuses there to you can browse. Other way, you can browse home screen setups. Trying to make that focus, and then let me make it a bit darker so you can see that a bit better. Right, and then when you get to one, you tap on it, it opens it up. And down the bottom there, you've got the apps that we used. You've got wallpaper. You can favorite it and whatnot. So essentially, if you're into customization on an Android phone, this is your app because it gives you everything you need to sort of get all the different apps and whatnot that you need to download to replicate these setups on your own device. And I released that at the back end of last year. And yeah, it's really fun. It's great.
So is that a launcher, or is it just the way?
Not a launcher. Yeah, no, this is it, but it features different launchers in it.
Gotcha.
And some people get confused. They put a review on the Play Store saying, hey, I can't just tap a button and it replicates this on my own home screen.
Yes.
I'll try and be clear that that's not what, you can't do that. There is no app that really does that. But essentially it gives you all the assets you need to then build it yourself.
Is it a paid app?
So you go. It's free to browse and to do everything, except if you want to submit setups to have them featured in the app, because I have to pay for storage and whatnot, then it's very cheap. It's about $2. You pay to upgrade.
That's awesome, mate.
That's it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great. Yeah. Can we answer some of these questions in the comments? Some of these guys got good ones.
How to increase the shutter speed on an Android, even if it's limited to 10 seconds? Do you want to go that?
Do you have an answer for that?
I've got a feeling, I've got a feeling he's talking about maybe a night mode or something here. And on all the Androids that I've played with, you've got that Pro mode, and you can just change all your settings manually in there. That's how I do all the astrophotography with any Android phone that I have besides the Pixel.
Yes.
And you can
change it. I was going to say that not a lot, but yeah, Pixels and a bunch of other Android phones don't have a Pro mode by default.
Yep. And
so that means you would need to download an application like Filmic Pro. Do they do camera? Do they do images? I think
it's a video.
It is video, isn't it? It's more video. You'd need to download just a third-party application from the Play Store that just gives you manual functionality, and that would sort you out.
But I'm pretty sure that all the Android phones, besides the Pixel, will come with...
They do have it.
That Pro mode, that 30 second. You'll be able to change it up to 30 seconds, for the night stuff that I do here anyway.
Cool.
The Pixel, just throw that thing on a tripod and you're going to get 4 minutes out of it.
It is
absolutely
cool. Yeah.
Curved displays look so beautiful. Why do you prefer a flat display, mate?
Someone's sort of mentioned it later on down in the comments that, flat screens help. Charles has said flat screens help prevent unintentional touches. And look, that is true. But also they have gotten a little bit better at that sort of accidental touch rejection feature of late in the last year or so, couple of years. For me, I actually prefer, just the feel of a flat display in my hand.
Yep.
Like, with some of the more extreme curved displays, like the Pixel 6 Pros is up there. It is, you're getting content sort of going off the side of the screen, and like if you're holding your phone like that, side of your palms blocking it. And to be honest, filming phones, I prefer filming a phone with a flat display for some reason. I actually think they look not sexier, but just better. I don't know, just cleaner maybe is the word.
All the angles.
Whereas a curved display, you get reflections. I don't know, things. Oh, and the other thing is the bezels start looking not symmetrical, because you've got the really thin bezels with the curves, but then you've got the forehead and it just unintentionally starts looking, it doesn't look symmetrical. So look,
absolutely.
I've always preferred flat displays.
The Pixel 6 design, the camera bump is choice. When I first saw that, them releasing what it was going to look like, Battlestar Galactica? The whole... That's what
the visor or whatever. Yeah.
That's exactly what.
Hang on, let me get it.
Yep. So anyway, Sam's gone now. And I know who he is.
Sorry. Just getting the pixels for anyone who hasn't seen it. So it's the real visor look, and controversial. I now really miss it being on other devices, because all other phones, including the iPhones and whatnot, you get the camera bump on one side, and this is a really great benefit of this camera bump is that when it's flat down on a table, which I actually use a phone fairly regularly flat on a table, particularly when I'm filming top-down shots, there is just no side-to-side wobble. If you've got your phone on you, put it on the table and just try and type something, and it's It's so annoying. And so I actually love it. I kind of hope other camera phone manufacturers start adopting something similar. They're not going to copy it, but I miss it now, being on the other devices.
Right. I think that was that Marquez Brownlee. That was like his big thing with not rocking on the table with the Pixel.
Yeah.
I absolutely get it. Is iMessage a big deal over there as it is in the US? Even here in Holland, most people have iPhones, ever use it. Absolutely, I would say. I think it's a big deal. Whenever I go and pull the SIM card out of that and put it into an Android for the sake of showing you guys what on earth I think of it, I miss it. I absolutely miss it. I like having the groups of chat and stuff, but WhatsApp, I only use WhatsApp. I don't know if you use WhatsApp, but I only use it there's a couple of vendors that I deal with, and that's the only time I use it, because they've asked to communicate that way because they're on the other side of the world. But I don't know, what do you think?
I don't, from watching videos like the one from MKBHD about iMessage, I don't know if it's quite as big a deal where there's bullying involved. Maybe there is a little bit, like there's a tongue in cheek. Certainly, no, my wife gives me flack about not having the blue bubbles, but but yes, we use WhatsApp actually. My wider family. Is that right? Where we use WhatsApp, and I don't love WhatsApp. There's something, it's not got the most elegant of designs. It's very just utilitarian, gets the job done in terms of features and whatnot, but we do use it. I mean, and as an Android user, I don't regularly use iMessage. So I've just learnt to deal with not having it, and it's not been much of an issue for me personally.
Yeah, I tend to agree that your message is still going to get there. It's just not, the blue bubble's just not there. But
on the Android side of things, I don't know about the blue bubbles, but
that's right. Yeah.
Although, I will say RCS. Now I do get, like, with if I'm messaging another Android phone that has RCS support, which most newer Android phones do. The bubbles are actually a darker color. So it feels kind of good, and you get to do the emoji reactions and all those sorts of things, and you get the typing. It's pretty much like iMessage, but more universal. And I would love it if I don't expect Apple to bring iMessage over to Android, but if they could at least adopt RCS or something of that nature, that'd be great.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Oh, I did, but it's not the best design. It's a bit in your face as well. And, I have used Google Notes, but I just don't love the design. I'm a big stickler for app design, having tested close to 1,000 apps over the years.
Is that right?
Actually, probably I have tested over, but I've featured close to 1,000 apps on my channel.
Wow, that's crazy. Someone needs to update DSLR controller for the latest version of Android.
I used to use DSLR controller.
And you don't now?
I don't, because I thought DSLR controller was the app that lets you control your DSLR camera via the thing.
I've never used that. I've used just the ones that are named for that brand, like your Sony cameras, like the
like the Imaging Edge or whatever.
Imaging Edge, that's the one,
yeah. So this was like a more universal one that wasn't by a specific camera manufacturer. And I know it worked with older Canon DSLRs, but that's been about 5 years since I've used that app. It was good back then, but if it's not been updated, it'd be nice.
It keeps up with all the different cameras that are out there. That'd be a pretty full-on updating process with every new.
That's probably why.
Camera, new model. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe why it hasn't been updated.
Evo's. So we've got a pretty good community on Facebook, the Bloody Legends.
Awesome.
And when we first started that, there's a guy who says to me, "Oh, do you need a hand to administer the site?" I'm like, "Go for it. It's all yours, buddy."
Awesome.
So that's him. He does a good job.
Excellent. Hello.
Sam, your channel focused most on Android apps in general, or focused on a particular niche?
Yeah, I would say that I am Android apps and smartphones. So I review phones, but when I'm not reviewing phones, I'm doing some sort of video related to Android applications. And I've tried doing iOS application videos, and they just haven't registered in the algorithm, or they haven't clicked with my audience.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. I'll do a video. Obviously, it's all like nighttime or long exposure photography that I do. And as soon as I do something out of that, I think, gee, that's a cool app. I'm going to do that. And I put the video together, and I watch the video. I go, that's an awesome video.
Yeah,
just bombs out.
Yeah,
only the diehard fans will watch it. And
that's it. And it's a shame about the YouTube algorithm. It used to be, if you built up a certain subscriber base, you could create any sort of video, and they would see it and most likely watch it. And now it's a whole different kettle of fish. You've really got to. I don't think. Yeah, if you go outside of your niche, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, that's right.
Unfortunately.
That's right. So this is something. There's a couple of apps. Actually, there's a few apps that iPhones have with the motion blur. Your silky water and light trails and things like that. Yep. So there's a few apps that I've reviewed here recently, and whenever I do review it, the most common question I get asked is, where is that for Android? And there's only one solution that I know of, but I'll be curious.
Yeah, what's your solution?
There's is the intervalometer app. So you can take some like long exposure, like 30-second photos, for example, of like the Milky Way. And the intervalometer app, you just set it up to take a photo every night, or all night, I should say, every 35 seconds, say. And it'll do that, and you can get a good time lapse going. And you can do the same thing with like water during the day, and like water on a beach around rocks, and that's what I'm talking about. And you can just set the shot up as you normally would in Pro Mode, look at how fast it is, and then set the intervalometer app to just continually take photos for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then merge them together. And they've got sister apps of those intervalometer apps, like one's Star Trails, one's Motion Blur, I think it might be called, and basically it stacks them all together just like you do in Photoshop, old school photos.
Right.
So that's what that. Do you know of any others?
The newest Pixels have a feature called what's it called?
Motion. I think it's called Motion.
Is it called Motion? Yeah, and then they have 2 versions of that Motion feature that gee, is one called Motion Blur or
I'm just checking.
I need to boot up my Pixel to remember. Anyway, there's 2 features. So one, but it's a little more software based than actually, the authentic, images becoming a blurry shot. But it will take a sort of a short capture of something moving fast, like a train or a car or whatever, and then make that look really blurry and quite cool.
Yep.
And what's the other one?
One is called Action Pan and Long Exposure.
Action Pan. That's the one. Yeah.
When I first got that one,
both of them.
I went out. Sorry, go on, mate. There's a delay there.
No, sorry. Sorry. So but yeah, no, you're right. So I've just gotten it up. But and long exposure on a Pixel phone will emulate. It will do the trails. If you do it at night with cars driving past, it'll do the traffic. The lights of the cars all as one long trail. You can get some really cool shots, but that is a Pixel exclusive feature. And there's not a lot of control either. You just tap a button, might go for 10 seconds or something.
I found the same thing with that that pan, whatever it's called, whatever I just told you it was called. When I tested that Action Pan, I reckon I took maybe 20 or 30 photos, and I'd get 1 or 2 that would do what I thought it was meant to do. I think it's a mode that they're still in developing, like that we're just playing.
It feels a little bit beta-ish. Yes.
Yeah. And the same thing with that's it.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're going into the Matrix. All these cameras on. That cinematic mode on the iPhones. I think that's very beta-ish as well. Like people were blowing up on that, saying that's just awesome. It's incredible. And I tested that's pretty bad. Just like get carried away. What else we got here? Interesting over the apping. Oh, sorry, I should put these things on here. Over the apping actually became official word. Texting me cool. That's interesting. Over here. Oh, I see. Yep.
So you say I'm apping you?
Yeah, that's the way I read that.
Apping became an official word for texting. So you say, Oh, we're apping at the moment, which means we're just texting between each other. That's
interesting.
There you go.
Silky Waterfall sounds like you had a Huawei before. Yeah, I've got to tell you that. So, if my best phone for me, because I'm a Mac person, would be the iPhone with Huawei's camera. Because the Huawei camera is just sensational. Absolutely love it. It does everything you want it to do, everything you could possibly want a phone to do.
Yes.
It just does it.
Yes.
And it does it really, really well from the camera's point of view. That long exposure, you can set a Huawei phone up for hours to take a long exposure by the default camera app and still take incredible Milky Way photos, star trail photos, everything from within the app that comes on the phone. It's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the best camera app combination of hardware and software. I think it's just fantastic.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's a big glow up.
Well, I really think it's, especially for what all the photography stuff that I do. It's just I carry that phone with me. I've got the P40 Pro. I've never even put a SIM card in it. I just carry it on when I go for a ride on my bike and stuff. I take it as a camera. It's just awesome. Yeah, and
that's
it hooks
fantastic.
into
How good's that?
Hooks into the Mac just easy as. Whereas I struggle big time with putting the S21 and the Pixel plugging into the Mac. Geez, I have trouble with that.
What do you use with the Huawei devices versus the Pixel or Galaxy devices?
Yep, I use that Android file transfer, and it just works. Yeah, I do the same thing with the other phones, and it will work like 1 time out of 10. And then I use that Dex for Samsung, and that's I don't know if it's just I'm too old to understand this technology, but I plug that sucker in, man. It works again 1 in 10 times, and I don't do anything different. Like nothing is done differently. I don't know. I don't get it.
That's frustrating.
And it just leads me to keep on using the iPhone. That's the primary reason I keep on using the iPhone. Yeah,
it's the walled garden, and look, they've created a fantastic ecosystem of very cleanly connected devices, and it's genius. Absolutely. They're genius, in terms of a business standpoint. But you should look into a service called, even just you can do it on your browser, snapdrop.net. This is an open source, basically file transferring solution that just uses your local network, and it honestly works, in my opinion, as fast as AirDrop. It's not quite as seamless, but on your iPhone or your Android, you just open up a browser, or you can download an app called Snapdrop as well, and you just select the files you want to transfer, and it will do it.
Yeah, right. I'm definitely going to have a look at that.
Have a look.
You might be able to side-load the latest version of Pixel Camera app.
Yes, you can get Gcam mods that definitely. So, you should be able to do that.
When I got right into the S21 Ultra with the astrophotography stuff, a lot of people said get Gcam on there, and this then it led me down this path, which led me to really dislike Samsung in the way that they do the processors, as in the States, and I think through Europe they've got the Snapdragons, and we've got the Exynos version here.
Exynos,
and every single APK that I found for the Gcam, it just crashed the phone every single bloody time. Because it was for the other one. It was for Snapdragon, not Exynos. And that I know that when I buy that and you buy that, we've got exactly the same device.
We've got the same one.
You can't say the same with the Galaxies, and that just it just does my head. Do you know why they do that?
No, to be honest, I don't know. It's something. I mean, I'm sure that there's something to do with licensing and maybe even chip supply, because there's been chip shortage issues across the world the last couple of years with the pandemic.
Yeah, true.
But so maybe it's a way to alleviate that, or it could just be Samsung trying to make sure that they've got their own foot in the door with selling chips, making chips, and because they actually worked with Google on the Tensor chip with the Pixel 6 lineup. That's actually based off an Exynos chip. But it is frustrating, and but it's the same with Pixels, as you said with the iPhones. You know which one you're getting wherever you buy it in the world.
That's right.
It's the same with pixels, which I like. It's just simple.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
It is automatic. Yep, absolutely. We just said that. Sorry. Long exposure bet on
Xiaomi.
Have you done any long? Have you done long? Because that's what you've got there, isn't it? What you just showed us.
I do have yeah. Look, no, I haven't yet done long exposure testing on the Xiaomi Mi 12, but hey, might have to do it.
So, do you do much long exposure stuff?
Only really when I've got the pixels, because of how easy it is. And I remember a number of years ago when I was using the OnePlus 3T. I think it was. So we're talking a while back now. Yeah, right. I did some long exposures, capturing some night skies and whatnot. And then the other reason I'll do some, but it's never manual because my audience aren't as enthusiast on like they want to use they want the camera to be good, but they want it to be good straight out of the box. They don't want to have to do X, Y, Z to get the most out of it. Yep. So slightly different market.
That's fair enough, mate. So everyone that comes on here, I ask them to send me some photos. And I saw when you sent me these, I thought, hello, he's looked at what I do here and he sent me some starry photos.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you take this on?
This was on the Pixel 4. No,
Pixel
5.
4.
Sorry, Pixel 5.
This is interesting. Because when the 6 came out and I went out and I did some Astro stuff with the Pixel 6 and then I had the 4A there as well. And I looked at the two photos and I went, you know what? I can't tell a bloody thing of difference in these two things. Yeah. These to me, for astrophotography, anything I think that has that Astro mode on the Pixel, because most of it's software, let's be honest, it takes like 16-second photos and just stacks them all. I don't think it's going to make a lick of difference what the hardware is in that camera. They're very good.
The other thing is they had the same main lens. They had the same main camera. Yeah. The same hardware. Yeah. So the Pixel 5, from the Pixel, I think 2, maybe there was a slight change, but Pixel 3, Pixel 4, Pixel 4a, Pixel 5, Pixel 5a, all of those phones had the same main lens. And then there was just some variations on whether they had an ultra wide or a telephoto. And then finally with the Pixel 6, we've seen a change in the sensors being used. But
you don't get to even that's what I'm saying now. The 4A and the 6 to me looked identical. I couldn't tell the difference.
And the other thing with the Pixel 6 that is a real bummer is that they with the Pixel 5 they allowed you to shoot. It's just baffling to me. They allowed you to shoot the long exposure mode with the ultra wide lens, and it was fantastic. I think it was like one of the features that differentiated that phone from other night modes on other phones. And then with the Pixel 6, you can't do it. Can't switch out to the ultra wide to shoot. The long exposure, which is ridiculous. It baffles me.
It is crazy. Well, the thing that I couldn't quite get my head around, I was really excited about the Pixel 6, and I was actually more excited about that than I am about the S22, because of the new hardware in it. And I was spruiking about the 50 megapixels. I thought, hello, here we go. We can do some big prints of astrophotography, but they've binned it. And they've binned it. Actually take advantage of that. That was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah, I definitely think Google need to come up with a pro mode. That's what they're missing. That's absolutely what they're missing is a pro mode that allows you to do what you want. This is using Action Pan. For those who are wondering what it looks like, this is early in my testing of the Pixel 6 Pro, and I just saw a train driving past. Mate, just took it, and it was good to go.
The thing that
I know, Shane, you said it took you a while to get a photo, like as in it took you 10 tries or whatever. But I actually, I mean, it depends what you're capturing, but this is pretty quick.
Yep. The thing that I found so a lot of what I was doing with this Action Pan thing was my own damn fault. Because I've been a photographer for so long, action panning to me is like, here it comes, take the photo as you go. Take the photo as you go.
Yeah,
Whereas this you don't. You just stand still.
You don't. You just stand still.
It just does it all for you. Yeah. Yes. So I think a lot of that was especially early on, once I worked out, that's how you do it. The bloody thing's all computational.
Yes, it is.
I I got better, as in better results, but still, there was a lot of hit and miss in there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. There is. But this one, not a bad result. Look at the front of that train.
Yep.
I mean, I can't really see much. It's basically like portrait mode, but then they whack on motion blur instead and look at the direction. But the edge
you can't
detection
argue
there,
with it. It's very clever. It's very clever the way they've done it. Very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and it looks cool. Like I always find Pixel phones capture the most shocking photos. Not the best and not the most reliable, but they will shock you the most with every now and then with the results. For example, they did that what was it called? Magic Eraser. And that's not necessarily in camera, but Magic Eraser where you can, and I was going to share you a photo that I used for Magic Eraser, but anyway, it would have been a bit long showing you the before and after, but photos of my kids where there's a couple of people in the background within moments. And I know you can do this with Photoshop and whatnot, but for the common punter, just being able to select that person. And in fact, it often auto detects the person and they're gone. And
that's right. Yeah.
You show that to someone who's not obsessed with smartphone cameras and jaws dropped.
Yeah, absolutely. I always talk when I talk about mobile phone photography or any sort of, because we do some really cool things with photography here. And I always say, where people say, oh, you can do it by doing this, and this, and this, and get the same result. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a phone. And if it's a phone, I think it should just be easy. If it's difficult, you've got to go through all these processes, well, go and use a bloody camera. But what you just said then was absolutely on the money as far as why I like using this sort of stuff with phones, because it's just easy. It detects that there's people there, or you just go, I want that one, and it just detects that's the person. It's very clever. I think it's a fantastic feature.
Yeah, so exactly.
An iPhone with Huawei's camera and
Pixels
and
processing.
Pixels computational. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, oh yeah. Gee.
We're on the winner. Is this Queenstown?
It is. Well done.
Yeah.
And that was with the...
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful spot. And that was with the Pixel 3 XL a number of years ago. Yeah. And I shot it with night mode. Actually, on Twitter, I should have shown you the before. I don't think I found it when I was looking for this, but the before, it was pretty much pitch black, this scene. And then with this is when they just sort of, I think they might have released night mode, maybe on the Pixel 2, but like later in a software update, but it was like coming as like, it was the big feature of Pixel 3. And so this is one of those shots that I just did with night mode early on in its life. And I honestly don't think it's gotten much better since then. It's still pretty similar. They've just added some bells and whistles like auto night mode and whatnot. But like, as you can see, like, I mean, this is a pretty nice image of Queenstown. It just looks, it is what it is, but that's night mode. And I should have shown you the before to really highlight how impressive this was. But the other thing is, this is like my first tweet that got a lot of traction because old mate MKBHD actually replied saying something along the lines of like, damn. And anytime MKBHD replies to a tweet, the initial tweet then goes semi-viral. Not huge, but 5,000 likes or whatever. And
right. So how many Twitter followers do you have?
I have like not many, 10,000, let's say. I think.
I've got like 10.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm pretty active on Twitter, but hey, that was when Marquez actually started following me, and we follow each other now on we've chatted a bit, but he's a good guy. But anyway, so I've always got a fond spot for this photo because of the wider happenings that occurred with the photo itself.
So I like this in that the dynamic range of this is sensational. You can see that the features on that mountain in the background, yet all the street lights, the house lights and everything else is not blown out. There's still color in there. I think that's just awesome. I think it is.
Yeah.
That sort of thing is where the Pixel shines, I reckon. Yeah.
Absolutely. But the issue for them is that other manufacturers have started picking up like back then, Pixel was on its own in terms of producing an image like this, but nowadays they're not. I still think they're very good, but they just haven't progressed as consistently as other manufacturers, and so now it's quite tight there in terms of smartphone photography.
Yep. So moving on from that, changing subjects entirely, because we'll wrap this up shortly.
Sure.
When are you thinking you're going to be out with your S22 reviews?
Yes, good question. So, as I said, I'm currently reviewing this Xiaomi device, and for anyone who's seen my channel, and if you haven't, what I actually another sort of sub niche of my smartphone reviews is I stopped doing or trying to do like as early as I could reviews, because often I would miss the deadline by even a few hours, and then the video tanks. So one thing I decided a year or so ago was, you know what, instead of that, I'm going to change tacks and go with more long-term in-depth reviews. So minimum of 1 month later, but sometimes 6 months later, sometimes 2 months, 3, just depends on my schedule, but also on, and so what I find that does is that hits a new audience who want to see how the device is performing longer term. They're not just interested in the specs anymore. They want to see, is this phone holding up? You know, how the software updates impacted the device. Is it still worth getting, sort of thing?
There's been a lot of talk about that Pixel 6 with that in regard to that.
Yes. Well, I will have. I'm currently finishing up my 6 month later review of the Pixel 6, which will address all of the sort of software issues that it was known for, whether they were fixed or not, and how I found why I kept using it for so long.
Yeah, cool.
But to answer your question regarding the S22s, I'd say that I would be doing maybe a 2 month later review of the S22 Ultra, followed by maybe a 3 month later review of the regular S22.
Yep. Yeah, cool.
So
very good. The for those who aren't here in Australia, so the S22 series got released on Friday. Is that right? What's today? Yeah, Friday. That's right. But it was only for pre-releases. So it's the only way that that's the only phone that I've encountered so far that you couldn't just walk into a shop and buy it. Was that for you as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So I went to the regular JB Hi-Fi that I go to and walked in, and they went, "No, you can't have one. There's only pre-releases." I'm like, "Damn it!" So you'd all just have to wait for a little bit until I get this damn phone to show you what it could do with the night sky that we have here. In saying that, all the reviews that I've watched so far, with like the bigger guys, I'm talking about like Mr. Who's the Boss and these guys, and the cameras between the 21 and the 22, they're virtually the same. So I'm not sure how much more I'm going. The pixels are slightly bigger, the pixel size, so that would suggest that the nighttime astro stuff would be a bit better. But to me, they is that your understanding? They're pretty much
look, I think Aaron from Mr. Who's the Boss does great camera comparisons, and his camera comparison with the iPhone 13 Pro Max was, I think, I was hoping it wouldn't be the case, but it's what's been the story the last couple of years at least, is that if you're looking for consistent, good results, iPhone, right? Absolutely. As I said with the Pixel, if you want the occasional wow photo or the occasional wow video, but then a little bit more inconsistent, I think S22 is still in that category of being a bit inconsistent. Like some of the shots were a bit disappointing, and I think really its niche is that 10 times lens. And if you have a need for that, and that is handy sometimes. Some people are like, I place high priority on that, and it's fun to have, but that's probably it's one sort of selling point in terms of the camera side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with everything that you just said. I found exactly the same thing with the pixels. I was like, this is great. Sometimes.
Yes.
And with the pixel, the iPhone, you go, this is great. Pretty much all the time. It's
exactly.
It just I know what I'm going to get every time. It's just,
that's right.
For me, that's great. Yeah. Well, I think we've answered pretty much everything that's on here. What's that one? Fingerprints better now on Pixel. I'd agree with that.
I actually never really found, I've only just stopped using the Pixel 6 about a week ago, and to move on to this Xiaomi device. And I found that the Pixel 6's fingerprints, the regular Pixel 6, not the 6 Pro, was always pretty decent. I didn't really notice it getting better or worse or whatever, but the 6 Pro, was the one that was struggling a little bit more for me. But yeah, I haven't used that for a little bit, so I'll probably need to check whether that's been updated.
Yeah, cool. All right, mate. I think we've covered everything that I wanted to ask you. I appreciate you coming on to the show. And I'm sure that as people watch this, when people wake up overseas, they'll be getting a lot out of what you've just told us all. All right. Excellent. So thanks, everyone. So. And go and check out his channel. I'll put a link down the bottom there so you all can see where he's at. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys. Catch you later. Cheers, mate.